It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
There's a reason why there's no video today. For you YouTube people, you're going to see a static screen today. Thank you for watching, YouTube people. It's not normally like this, but today it is. We'll get into that. And Kelly's, what are you into? We kicked the podcast off. We kicked the podcast off by thanking the Patreon members, patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast, keeping the lights on, keeping this thing going. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed Trivia 21 yesterday. I think I've got some more videos popping up there this week. I really want to get back to calling people and doing longer conversations and posting them on the weekends. My schedule, I'm still trying to figure out with work and recording. So bear with me. It's in the works. I promise you that. It's not forgotten at all. But you can check all that stuff out over at patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. We also kick the podcast off with 5-star reviews on iTunes, if there ever are any, which there aren't. There rarely are. Sometimes it happens. Otherwise, I've got to come up with a shout out. Today's shout out goes to my kiddos who had their first day of school for the year. I thought my daughter was in kindergarten until my wife sent a text out to a group of friends, Brandon and Jamie, and Jamie was like, is it Olivia's kindergarten? And as I'm ready to respond, yeah, first day, my wife goes, no, this is first day of preschool. I have no idea what grade they're in. I know they went to some kind of school today, and shout out to them for being super cute and I guess doing a great job at school, so that was good. Big time good for the kids. No fights, good listeners. Huck didn't have any accidents. Big day. Then apparently they came home, and I had game night tonight. And my wife said, Olivia, everything that she was at school, she wasn't tonight. So unshout out then to Olivia. Huck remains shout-outable, but Olivia gets a half a shout-out. Okay, I've got to get to today's thing. I'm excited. This is a call I'm excited to make because it's one of my favorite humans. And I know Darnay, I say that a lot. I'm not calling Darnay, who is also one of my favorite humans. But Darnay always says, you say that about everyone. Well, I will say this about this guy. This is someone who is the nearest and dearest to me. I might talk to him more in a week than anyone. And that's tough to do because I talk to Jeremy a lot, talk to Ryan and Kenny a lot, talk to Andy on the phone a lot. Now, the other guys I talk to on Marco Polo. But, there's guys I talk to a lot during my week. This guy I talk to the most. And it's because he's my guy. I love this guy to death. Would take a bullet for my brother. So let's give him a call. My brother Travis. I'm calling him because I want everyone to understand the kind of thing, like Travis and my conversations are so different. And the thing I'm calling him about right now could be so stupid, but he and I would be consumed about it for multiple days. So I just thought, let's call him on the podcast. Shall we? Let's see here. How do I make a call? There we go.
Yo, what's up?
How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on the podcast.
I'm so good. It's my pleasure.
First of all, you're a teacher, and I was proud of you. Your school doesn't start till tomorrow. While we're recording this, what is it? It's Tuesday after Labor Day. Thank you. Tell your school. Thank you for that. It makes sense to me.
You're welcome. I'll make sure it happens every single year because it is better to go in September than August. The month of August is not a school month. It should not be allowed. It should be illegal, actually.
I would feel like as a teacher, and this is something I was going to rant about, but I'm just going to talk with you about it. I feel like as a teacher, I'd want the kids the day after Labor Day because summer is kind of over, right? We've got football starts this week. Labor Day was Monday. And it just seems like let's get all the fall transitions in 1 week as opposed to, we're sort of into fall if we started school 2 weeks ago. I don't want kids in school during summer. And if you get out early, you're not in summer yet. You're letting kids out in spring. Summer is for the children.
Yeah, it is. Now, I will say the funny thing is we had a bunch of rain. It felt like a fall weekend over here on the west side of Washington. We had rain. It was cloudy. It is fall weather. School is here. It's September. Tomorrow it's supposed to be sunny and 81, or Thursday, like 81 degrees. Friday is supposed to be like 82. So we got a little bit of a trick, but still, hey, the calendar says September, so my brain's thinking fall. I'm going to ignore the heat and the sun and just say, hey, September means fall. Everybody just be in school.
Travis, I was talking to Ryan about this week. September in the Northwest is some of the most amazing weather of the year.
Insane.
It's so great.
It is. Well, it's the best unless you're a teacher in school, because you kind of just want to be outside. You really don't want to be inside. But again, I'm looking at the calendar. It's fall. I'm going to convince myself it's fall.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say, like, it's that weather where you kind of are slowly getting into some longer sleeve shirts comfortably.
Yeah.
But yet you can still like wear a t-shirt some days. So I don't know. I just love it. Anyways, the reason I'm calling you is because I wanted to let the podcast audience in on the kind of things you and I talk about, as I think you're the person I talk to. Man, you're up there and probably the most I talk to in a week. It's we talk a lot on Marco Polo about a lot of things. And this is one of those things like that we get, I drag you into, and you humor me because you're really good at math. We talk a lot of weird board game and mainly card game strategies.
Well, because we want to win. Because we rely heavily on our amazing ability and our strategic play, but really it's our minds, right? We need to know the probability of us winning, and if we can think of the numbers behind it, our chances are going to go up that we're going to win. So the end goal is the same. I mean,
Travis, preach. There's a game called Back Alley Bridge, and it's a trick-taking game. You play with a teammate most of the time, and you and your teammate are trying to take the most tricks, and it's pretty basic. But there's a betting part on, as you see your hand, you bet on how many tricks you and your teammate are going to be able to take. And I think we spent 10 hours minimum over the course of 2 or 3 days discussing what we believe to be a truly spectacular strategy to go into this game with. And then I think we failed maybe 3 or 4 games in a row after this 10-hour conversation.
Yeah, but you want to talk about small sample size. 3 or 4 games, hey, we can lose 3 or 4 games out of sheer luck. But I think if we stretch the sample size, I think our strategy will, in the end, get us more wins. Because, the numbers work out where our strategy, which I'm not going to disclose because that would be, people think for yourself. Yeah. We would win over time.
What do you think? We're going to do 10 hours of research and then in one podcast give you the secrets?
No, that's going to be on the Patreon. That's got to be a Patreon episode. You got to pay for that. Come on.
All right, so that's the thing. This could be a teaser. Maybe I'll have you on for a weekend episode. And this could be like our teaser episode of the kind of content you can get from Travis and I breaking down game strategies for you. I kind of gave you a hint about what this one is earlier today on the phone, but we'll break it down now. I have a YAHTZEE strategy I want to throw out there, and judging by your I feel like you might have already debunked it, but I want to throw it to you. Here's my thing. I love the game YAHTZEE, and it's one of my favorite games. Anna and I play it a lot. I've always loved to play this game, and I really love it. So my new thing I found myself thinking of way too much today. I took a lunch break and I just needed a moment. I hid in my office during lunch and just kind of sat there. And for some reason I was thinking about YAHTZEE. And I think that if you went into the game of YAHTZEE and didn't pay attention really to any of the things you need to get on the YAHTZEE board, on the YAHTZEE game sheet, and just tried to get YAHTZEEs, I think you would win more than you would lose. Thoughts?
Yeah. You pitched this to me earlier, and I was like, absolutely. Now I haven't stopped thinking about it since that conversation, 5 hours ago, however long ago it was. And my math brain started clipping pretty quick. And I told you, I said, I'm just going to roll some YAHTZEE dice, some games. So I just played some games on my own, just by myself in my classroom with some dice. And I'll be real with you. I played 2 games, and I did 13 rolls, because you have 1 through 6, and you have, all the other things you can get. So it's 13 rolls. I didn't roll a YAHTZEE once.
Okay, so
that's 2 games. That could be because I suck at YAHTZEE, apparently. I didn't roll a single YAHTZEE in 26 rolls.
Well, this is when I needed your math brain, because there's actually math to be done on the chances of getting a YAHTZEE, right? You roll the dice once, you look at what your best chance to get a YAHTZEE is, you save the dice that leave you with the best chance, roll your second roll, third roll, And the reason I say this with Yahtzees is if you get a Yahtzee, it's 50 points. As soon as you get the second Yahtzee, if you can get 2 Yahtzees in a game, that second one is 100. So now you've got 150 points and you are automatically in the game. And the thing that I learned, because I played a couple games, now I downloaded some apps, and Yahtzee on your phone is the stupidest thing ever. Because Travis, they throw at you, they've taken Yahtzee, and all I wanted was basic Yahtzee. Just give me Yahtzee.
Yeah.
I downloaded 3 different Yahtzees, and all of them are like, "Ooh, now this round's a bonus spin, and you get 5 rolls." And I'm like, I don't want 5 rolls. I want regular scoring, regular play Yahtzee. But everyone needs so many bells and whistles anymore. I can't even find regular Yahtzee. That's old man yells at clouds here. Tony Kornheiser radio. But I played a couple, and again, if you get that second Yahtzee, you're at 150. In the course of rolling, I will say this, in the course of rolling 4 Yahtzees, the thing I hadn't even remembered, you still are going to score a bunch of points. Like, you're not getting zeros. I'm taking a 0 on large straight, and I'm taking a 0 on small straight. I'm automatically taking those. And then the rest of them, you can kind of fill out as you miss your Yahtzees. So you're not getting a 0 on the rest of it. So if you can get 2 Yahtzees in a game, you're going to be well over 200. If you get 3 Yahtzees, you automatically win.
You're going to win. You're going to win for sure. Here's the math behind it. Now, I'm not going to take any credit for this because I grabbed the pencil and I'm like, well, I can figure out this math. And I'll be real with you. I'm pretty confident in my math skills. Probability is the one area that has always kind of baffled me because it just gets so complicated so fast. So I just went to Google and I go, what are the odds of a Yahtzee in 3 rolls? When you keep your dice 3 rolls, it's 3.2%.
Oh, that's
so
not
let's
good.
call it 3.5.
That's
3.5%. So then I go, okay, you have 13 rolls. Well, 3.5% is really close to 1 in 30. So in 30 rolls, you would expect to get 1 Yahtzee. And that's where my came at the beginning.
But
1
hang
in
on,
30 rolls.
is that saying? Wait, hang on. Is that saying that you have to roll a Yahtzee in 1 roll, or did ChatGPT understand that you get 3 rolls? You know what I'm saying? Like, because sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, yeah, I did.
Sometimes they just assume, it's 1 roll.
Well, ever since we did our March Madness AI pick'em and ChatGPT can't correctly just separate teams into groups, I've gotten a little bit wary of its math skills. So I just went to normal Google. You heard that before? Google.com.
Normal Google, yeah.
And I used that like in the 2005, and it spit me out a pretty legit math website, and it was in 3 rolls. So it gave me the probability of in 1 roll, in 2 rolls, and then using all 3 together, 3.5%. And that made me worried because the chances of you getting 2 Yahtzees, well, take 3.5 and the math is you multiply it together, it gets even smaller. It's less than 1% chance that you really are going to get 2 Yahtzees.
All right, so this strategy stinks.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Now, I will tell you this. It just took me, while you were talking, it took me my 3rd roll, I got 5 2s. 3 rolls.
Not to me, no.
Yes. So I rolled 3 2s, then a 2, then a 5th 2. So that's a Yahtzee on my 3rd turn.
There you go.
So the problem is
maybe you're better at Yahtzee.
Well, I might just be good at Yahtzee. That might just be the case. But the numbers you're saying are right. And I will say, as I navigated the terrible Yahtzee downloads, Trav, I was not getting a whole lot of Yahtzees. And I just blamed technology.
I got a lot of 4 of a kind when I did it with my physical dice, and I got really excited because I thought this is it. I just need 1 more 4, and I just got not what I needed. So I got really close, which is why if you score it, you'll be close. Because I like the idea of if you can get 2 Yahtzees, you're going to win. I want to say if you get 2 Yahtzees, you're going to win.
You are going to win
as long as you're scoring the rest.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, as long as you're chasing Yahtzees, as soon as you start chasing after, especially the full house, but mainly the small straight and the large straight, you are sacrificing. Because up top on the Yahtzee board, to get the bonus of 35, you need to average 63 is the score, which is the average, every number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that if you get 3 of each one of those, that added up is 63. So you need to get 3 of each one of those combinations. So as soon as you're chasing Yahtzees, you'll get like if you get a 4 of a kind and 4 and 5, and you get like a 4 of a kind and 3, well, now it doesn't even matter what your 1s and 2s are. Okay?
No, not at all.
And if you can get that bonus up top, you're over 90. All right? So now you add 90 to 150 if you can get the 2 Yahtzees. I don't know that I'm bailing on the strategy yet. I need to play a bunch of games against somebody. I need to play a whole sheet. I need to play a sheet of games because even if you don't get the Yahtzees, I think you could still win the round. So again, the reason I'm doing this on the podcast, I want people to understand our relationship and how we could, this was just on this podcast. We've talked about it for 10 minutes and I could still, I could still talk to you about it for 20 more minutes.
I feel like, because I just realized, I remember I had the other number I calculated was, you still have 13 rolls. There's still like a 45% chance that you're going to roll a Yahtzee in those 13 rolls. So you're still under 50%. But hey, if you want to win, you might have to risk it and say, I know I'm chasing Yahtzees, but I think the key is ignore the bottom half of your sheet. You got to go Yahtzees and focus on that top half and get that bonus. Yeah. And I think you're going to win every time.
You really need to be quick to sacrifice the straights because you'll roll a small straight. You'll roll a small straight in one roll, and then people stop rolling and they take the 30 points or whatever it is. And you've hindered yourself. I really do think you've hindered yourself there. Large straight's hard to get. It requires all 5 dice to work for you. And if you're going to have all 5 dice work for you, you might as well go for the Yahtzee. I know the odds are harder to get a Yahtzee. I believe that's right. Harder to get a Yahtzee than a large straight. But if you're going to make all 5 dice work for you, let's go for a roll that can satisfy more numbers on the board. Because a large straight can only satisfy one thing. You can't bail out and get like 3 4s unless you're really rolling terribly or you don't know how a straight works. Okay, that's a Yahtzee breakdown that I feel like everyone needed.
Yeah, well, I'm ditching. Here's the deal. You've convinced me. I'm ditching my lesson plans for first day of school tomorrow. I'm handing all my students. I have 100. This is actually a great idea. I have 134 students. I could play 134 games of Yahtzee tomorrow. Hello. Want to talk about a quick little math sample? Hey, everyone, grab 5 dice. Here we go. Start rolling.
Math, and you can say, start it off with the old math. And I know you're good at this. You're a great teacher, but like the old math isn't always boring. Right? Math isn't always boring. No. We can have fun with math. And that could be for any subject, right? If a good teacher gets you with, we can have fun with English. We can have the real liars, the real good liars. They're like, we can have fun with history. And you're like,
the best liars. Yeah,
you're like, no, you can't. And they're like, yes, you can. And it's like, well, you're not going to be able to prove that, but at least you're going to give it the old college try. So I think it's great. Like, we can have fun with numbers. And then you give everyone dice and you just roll Yahtzees, and then that leads into you guys rolling characters for D&D, and it's just like you just know the kids dice every day in Mr. Widmer's class. Dice dice
weird.
Everywhere.
And all of a sudden we're only doing addition. We're only doing roll a d20 and add 4, add 5. Huh, interesting. That's weird.
We're really good at addition. We're really bad at subtraction. Really bad.
Everything else is bad.
I love it, dude. All right, well, thank you for taking my call. I feel
pleasure.
like there was something else I wanted to talk to you about. Was there Switchfoot news that excuse me? Was there Switchfoot news that I missed?
I don't think so. They're on tour right now. Actually, they're in Spokane on like Friday. I think they're actually going to swing by the Seattle area. I kind of missed it.
Really? I felt like I saw something. You know what I hate about?
They released a movie or like a video, a documentary. I didn't watch it. I don't know how to watch it. I think you have to pay for it.
Okay, that's probably what it was then. I love them. I love them. I've been really diving into some Switchfoot and Reliant K recently, and I'm just loving it like I always do. But I hate social media in that, and this has happened to me multiple times in the last few weeks. I will see a story on my timeline, and I'll get really excited about it, and I'll tell someone, and they go, "What?" And I look back, and it was a post from 2 weeks ago. But it's coming up.
You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up as new on my timeline. And I'm old, and so I bite, and I don't look at when it was posted, just assuming that my timeline is in chronological order, and I'm days late on everything.
Yeah, you're reading the newspaper, and I'm getting it on X or whatever. But it's even worse now. I get it.
So I don't know.
Old man. Hey, old man radio.
Yeah.
Yell at
Tony
Google, call
Kornheiser.
Elon and tell him to fix it.
I know. I guess my thing would be, where are people getting their news in a timely fashion? In a world where the news is no longer, 6:00 every night. It's constant.
Yeah.
Where are people getting it in a way that releases it chronologically? Because that's not social media. Social media does not do it chronologically for the most part, unless you're on Twitter. But then Twitter, you have to go through everyone on your timeline because I followed so many people to get to the news stuff. So where are people going to get news?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't follow news. Come on now.
Nah, you don't know either. All right. Well, thank you for taking my call, Trav. I know you're busy. I know you've got the kids going to bed. Tell Naomi and the kids hello, okay?
I will. And hey, you know what? Maybe I'll ask these young kids I get to meet tomorrow, these 11 and 12-year-olds, where they get their news, because they will probably have the answer for us, because we're old and they are young. So I'll let you know what they say.
All right, man. Good luck tomorrow. Have a good first day of school. See you, dude.
Appreciate it. See ya.
There he is, my brother Travis. I mean, that had to bore you to tears. Not me. I could talk to Travis about it forever. Yahtzee strategy. Because if I'm playing Yahtzee, I want to win. Look, I'm going to roll right now and see. I'm going to go for my fives. First roll, I got 2 5s. Second roll, I picked up a third 5. So now, third roll, I'm rolling 2 dice. Didn't pick it up, but that's a 15 up top, right? There's a 15 up top. That's the average. 3 of each number. We're in a good spot. This is live play-by-play of Yahtzee. I'm only going to do 2 turns. See, my second roll has started out with 2 5s, so I'm in a weird spot now, right? I just got my 5s. Roll another one. I got a third 5. Roll again. Didn't get it, but now that's my 3 of a kind, and it's a good 3 of a kind. That is 22 for my 3 of a kind. That's a good number. Go for Yahtzees. Always. Always. All right, let me see. I really want to talk about the camping trip this weekend, but this podcast is going long. Let's save the camping talk. Let's save the camping talk for, hang on. I think this is going to fire something.
Kelly's, what are you into?
Whoa. It sure did, didn't it? Sure did. Fired that off real good. Fired it off 3 times, in fact. Kelly's, what are you into? We're going to do that here in 1 second. But we're going to do the camping story on Friday's podcast because we went camping. I went camping with the kids. It was successful-ish, and I want to talk about that. All right, but Kelly's, what are you into? A shout out to the boys and girl in the LLCFF, my fantasy football league that I talked about a little bit, last week. Andy, Max, Jeremy, Chris, Matt. Why can't I ever just get everyone in it? Me, Andy, Jalen, Chris, Judy, Max, Matt, Graham, and Rhett. There we go. Names, everybody. This wonderful league with these guys and girl that I love so much. And a league that I had probably been neglecting. I mentioned it on Friday or maybe it was Mondays. I don't want to take for granted things. I'm trying my hardest not to just take things for granted that I've just had. And this fantasy football league, I think I took for granted for a number of years. My buddy Andy was always in my ear. He's like, dude, we got to make the league more fun. Please, because he cares about the league. And I kind of just had it in cruise control. I loved it every year. The draft was always fun, but I didn't care about the league like I should have. And I kind of realized that this weekend when I missed the draft, and I really missed my friends, and I really missed my friends in general. And I was like, this is a really special thing to me that I've just been neglecting. So, as commissioner, last night late, I burned the midnight oil. And then I woke up super early, excited about it. And before work, I burned the early morning oil. And I've just been burning the after hours oil, staring at a computer screen. I went through and compiled 12 years of stats and records for this fantasy football league. And I give credit to Jamie, who is the commissioner of the other league I'm in, the league with Walter. I'm normally not a 2-guy league, but that's where I've settled. 2 leagues. One of them a money league, the other one the LLCFF, which I wish we could turn into a money league. I think that added a little bit of fun to it. But anyways, Jamie keeps a record book for this league we have, but it's only like 3 or 4 years in. So it was a little easier to compile the records. He also started keeping track of the records from the jump. Well, I looked at his record sheet, everything that he keeps a record of, and I was like, I want to do that for the LLCFF. But that meant going through 12 seasons of info manually, going through week by week, seeing who high scorers were, seeing who high scoring players were. Here's the records we have. And I bring this up because if you have a fantasy football league, keeping a record book that is outside of what ESPN or Yahoo or NFL.com, whatever your site is, outside of their records, having your own record book is really fun. And the things I've got right now to start are pretty basic and maybe things that some sites have. But here's what we have. Winners of our main trophy, winners of the losers trophy, the worst team in the league. Top 5 scorers in a single week. All right. Shout out to Brad, who quit the league for somehow he's our number 1 all-time scorer with 170.9 points one week in 2014. All right. So I've got the top 5 in there. Bottom 5 scores in a single week. Shout out to Matt Schmidt for a 22.4 performance in 2023. He had a real bad year last year. Schmidt, I don't know what happened to you there. We have highest scoring active individual player. So highest scorer who was on a team, played in a game. That was 2013. Andy had Peyton Manning for 60.28. We do 6 points for a quarterback touchdown, like old school, before everyone got smart and lowered those points. We threw it back to the 90s. We had highest scoring player who was left on the bench for a team. We've got largest point differential in a single week. Who beat up who the most? Most wins in a regular season. Least wins in a regular season. It's way better than most losses. It looks real good when you have 2 wins on the board for Judy, for Jeremy, and Matt Schmidt. Most points total in a regular season. Least points in a regular season. Most points against in a regular season. Least points against in a regular season. So these are the stats I've compiled. And now they're accessible to the masses, and it's kind of fun because each week, right, you have this little side game when you have a record book with a ton of things in it. Where at the end of the week, not only are you looking at, okay, did I beat Team X? How am I looking in the standings? But you have a fun little extra carrot to be like, did I break any records, good or bad? Did I break any records this week? And so I think it's really fun to compile a good record book for your fantasy league, just to bring in a little bit of flavor, a little extra flavor to the league. Something fun to think about. It takes a lot of work if you've been in a league for a long time. But if your league is young, just jump on it right now. Start the Google Doc, and it can be edited as you progress much easier. Okay. Also, Yahoo, however you say it. We use them for one of my 2 leagues for the LLCFF. We use them. I actually really like, and I've liked Yahoo forever. It's the first site that I used for internet fantasy football in 2000 when Kenny and I took our 1997 league that was all pen and paper and a whiteboard, and we transitioned to moving to the States, and we wanted to keep doing the league. We did it on Yahoo because we were in the States. We actually had computers with internet. And so Yahoo was the first one that came up, and so we used that. And so I've always used it, so I've just kind of become accustomed to it. And I just kind of like that it's got my career of fantasy data dating back to 2000. And I don't know what's going on with them, but have you ever tried to log into Yahoo in the last 2-3 years? It used to be you just type in your username, type in your password, hit enter, and you were in. Now it's like type in your username, scan a QR code, scan your face, enter a 4-digit code, go to a different computer, get some kind of login information from that. Now check 2 emails. Now re-enter the thing you started with, and now enter the password. And I'm just thinking, Yahoo, we could probably just go for password or username and password. Seems pretty much what a lot of sites do. It's so hard to log into Yahoo. And this isn't old man yelling at cloud. This is actually just everyone can observe this. This is crazy. Go to ESPN, log in. All right? Do that. Go to Yahoo, log in, and just look at the crazy differences. Yahoo must just be getting hacked 24/7, which means boost up your security. Because we shouldn't have to jump through this many hoops to log in. I shouldn't have to have my phone next to me every time I'm on my laptop or my desktop just trying to log in to check my fantasy team. I shouldn't need to have my phone or another computer next to me to log in. Okay, let's do some comments. Let's get out of here. Thank you, Travis, for coming on today. Very much appreciated. We go over to seanslife.com where you can leave your questions, comments, concerns, whatever it might be, shout outs, whatever you want. And Ian said this: I'll dig out the recipe for you in regards to the curry. The filet mignon French style isn't as complicated as it sounds. It's very similar to orange beef, but different type of meat and some slight changes that may or may not include grain or gran marinara. I don't know what that is. All I know is that Ian said he made that camping, and that is truly spectacular. He said we have a legit wok, and it's used for dishes like curry. Sorry for the different format, setting up our new computer so Brianna can start middle school off right. Oh, middle school with the computer. What a time. What a time. I was excited to have a mechanical pencil in middle school, and now they have computers. He said, lucky girl gets to hang out with Brandon's wife. Literally, her locker is around the corner from Jamie's office, and is her cross-country coach. Woo, that's a treat. Jamie's rock star, Brandon's wife, rock star. Yeah, you're lucky if you're in her class, so congrats. And then he said, lastly, I'm coding a brand new Discord bot from scratch to do Trivia 21. I'm not as familiar with JavaScript, but the languages I know are close enough I can stumble through it. Cheers. Show it to me when you're done, Ian. Show it to me when you're done. I'd love to see what you come up with. Yvonne said this over on Spotify. I can't wait to hear about the second camping trip. We used to sleep in our backyard on our lawn furniture. I would have loved to do the camping stuff today, but this podcast is already probably going to be over 30 minutes. So we'll save it for Friday. And it'll be a fun Friday. We'll finish the week with my thoughts on taking the kids camping over Labor Day weekend. I just wanted to talk to my brother. I love talking to him. And he is willing to come on and do a long podcast on the weekends, and we won't just do breakdowns of game strategies that probably aren't great. But I think it'd be fun to listen in on how our conversations go, because everything we have turns into us really thinking we're smarter than we are. Oh, I almost forgot. I mentioned at the very, very beginning, I was going to tell you why there's no video today. And I said I would say it in Kelly's What Are You Into? I stared at computer monitors last night for so long. Then early this morning for so long. Then went to work and stared at computer monitors the entire day. Then after work, had game night where I also looked at my monitor because I forgot all my stuff. So I tried not to look at my monitor. I tried not to use a monitor during game night, but I did use a monitor. And so I've been staring at monitors for 24 hours. My eyes are so bloodshot. I came home. My wife said, "Do you have double pink eye?" I was like, "No, I'm exhausted." And my eyes are equally as tired and strained. Probably not the healthiest thing, but that's what happened when you're trying to really rally a fantasy football league. So we just decided as a family, no one needed to see me looking as tired with my eyes as I am. So that's what's happening today. Vanity. Thanks for listening.